Arsenal 1, Manchester United 0. Calafiori with the goal in the 13th minute from a set piece. The Arsenal fans are texting us, bragging about the win. I said set piece FC. That's my clapback for the Arsenal fans.
And that's what you got from open play. I think you're going to have a hard time winning the league this year once again. Obviously, like you said, great teams, they find a way to win even when they get outplayed. We used to do that all the time back in the day. But they got away with one because really it wasn't a set-piece goal. It was an error from Bayindir. We had seen that a couple times from Onana last year. Just we need a number one who's confident in the box. That's so important these days because so many players, so many teams, I think, target goalkeepers if they can, get one over. And they did again.
Raya had to deal with one on the other side of the pitch and did very well. Let's get into the starting 11 from the manager. Bayindir in net, Euro, De Ligt, Shaw back line. We had Delo right wing back, Casemiro, Bruno midfield, Dogu at left wing back, Embumo, Mount, Kuna up front with Kuna playing striker, but obviously they would all be dropping into different pockets of space there. Sir, what do you make of the starting 11 from Ruben Amorim? Fans were a little disappointed online.
Yeah, I mean, so Onana doesn't even make the squad. That had some question marks. Bayindir gets the go. Højlund nowhere to be found as well. His career at United looks to be over, especially for this season. Question marks. The back three, I had some concerns. I thought we would see Maguire. I didn't think we'd see Shaw and De Ligt. De Ligt as an anchor, I had some worries about that. Delo instead of Ahmad, I thought we should have gone for it. Arsenal there to be had, especially early in the season before they get ahead of steam. I wanted to see his attack 8 to 10. And then the Mason Mount start, I didn't like. I was like, you got Benjamin Cesko. He's fit as fuck. He's ready to rock. Mount, I have to agree with you, John. It's like he's a good super sub. He's not quite the Mason Mount of 2021 when he won the Champions League final. So I think he comes off the bench. He's an impact player. But we ended the way I want us to start. But yeah, that was my concern with the 11. What did you think, sir, when you saw it?
I mean, the question I have is, what did Arsenal say when they saw this 11 and they didn't see Cesko there and they didn't see Ahmad on the wing? I think they felt a little relieved. But I would say, coming out, it looked much better. In the first half, United controlled the ball. We were able to switch it out to Embumo. He was running at defenders. I felt like we were really taking it to Arsenal. So while the 11 might not have looked that strong, I felt like in practice we had great control in the first half. Other than that horrid moment in the 13th minute, sir, let's get into it. Calafiori, Bayindir. Arsenal in front, quality of the ball. What about that goalkeeping there? And, he was handled. There was some physicality there. Is it a foul? Is it not? For me, that's cheeky. That's cheeky. You're seeing Bayindir's arm get held a little bit, getting pushed in, Mount fouled. But if you're the team arguing for fouls on corners, you're losing because it goes in. It's a goal. If there's no foul called there, you're not going to get. VR is not going anywhere near this. So we can all slow it down. We can all take screenshots, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. You need to score a goal. You're Manchester United, 200 million. Let's go.
A good goalkeeper makes it so the foul on the goalkeeper is obvious. You allow yourself to get muscled, but still get pushed off the ball and not new enough to actually stop the goal in the first place. So we've seen it from both of our goalkeepers, 1 and 2. Not Tom Heaton. He has as many goes, but we've been so weak from these in-swinging corners. If you remember, Mateus Cunha scored against Onana from an in-swinging corner last season when he was still on Wolves. So super frustrating. They were definitely, I think they were pushing the edge of the rules. Arsenal were like, I don't think he was looking at the ball at one point when he was pushing into Bayindir, but at the end of the day, bro, this is like, you can't be squabbling over the penalty in the second half or this in the first half. You got to go out and score goals and stop. Shit, dude, they didn't create nothing, and we gave up this.
No, that's really the issue, is United needed to score. And ultimately, getting into the key match moments, 30th minute, great driven shot from Dogu right off the post. I mean, this is what he's there for. He covered more yards than anyone on the pitch. Looks an absolute unit, so fit. 33rd, Cunha had a great dribble through the midfield. He was finding pockets of space down the left-hand side. He was dropping deep from the 9 roll and then making these big runs. Lame shot, but you're starting to see Cunha really come alive. A lot of people who were there in person were talking about how great he was. Obviously, if you're there at Old Trafford, it gives you a different view than the telly. But I thought he shined. In the 37th minute, he just went wide as well. So Kuna looking good. Embumo finding areas of space to attack on the right wing. I feel like you're getting our best attacking players chances, and you just got to find that killer pass, that final shot. It wasn't there for United in the first half, but encouraging.
No, I mean, other than the goal we conceded, we really had a nice first half of football. Defensively, really strong from DeLitt. He fucking dominated every area of ball that was coming to Gyökeres. I thought Yoro, he was cleaning things up as well, shutting down Saka at times. And Shaw looking good in that last spot if he can stay fit. Dogu as well. So very encouraging. You know, it's still a little bit herky-jerky in the final third because the players, I don't think they don't know how to play together quite yet, and they were pressing so hard. But Kuna and Embumo look like great side. I mean, you can already tell it's been one game, and they're gonna, as long as they stay fit, they're gonna be very, very productive Manchester United players because they know the league, and they're not just the only guy in the band anymore like they were on Wolves. There's other supporters around them.
Absolutely. Second half, we were waiting for the manager to change. We didn't really have the control that we did in the first half, and we weren't creating the chances. I was looking at Amrabat, hey, we need a change. That change came with Ahmad coming on for Delo. He looked great playing with Embumo on the right side, but they kind of collided in certain areas, or it was a little awkward where Embumo was playing the 1-2 and Ahmad wasn't necessarily ready for it. So they're going to figure that out. 65th, bringing on the big guns. I thought this was a little late from the manager. You're down 1-0. We were kind of a little bit of a lame duck in the first 20 minutes of the second half. But he brings in Cesko and Ugarte for Mount and Casemiro. Casemiro obviously probably doesn't have the legs to finish it out. What'd you make of these changes from the manager? Did they impact the game?
Yeah, I think they could have happened earlier. I think the Ahmad one definitely did. It kind of got gunked up, like you said, because Embumo and Ahmad were playing in the same position, kind of same space on the field, and they're still getting to know each other. Cesko and Ugarte, I think it makes sense on paper. I think Cesko's ready to rock. He finished with them. He's definitely not ready to play a full 90, maybe a 60, but I think have that impact late. He didn't get a lot of service. Ugarte, it made sense on paper, but he had a shit game once again. He looks way off and not the go-to for number 6, whereas like Casemiro in that first half, he was spraying passes, he was finding Embumo out wide. That's gonna be something we have to deal with before this window closes.
We're going to talk about it. 68th minute, great take from Kuna to beat the press. He found Embumo well on the edge of the box, and him and Ahmad come together in that awkward, they were just too close to each other. Ahmad just, hey, I'm the right winger, but actually, no, you're the wing back. You got to give him some space. 69th minute, Embumo with a great scissor kick. This was close. And then another header from Embumo in the 73rd minute. If you look at the X threat, XG from Embumo was crazy. He was like by far our most dangerous attacker. 80th minute sub. Maguire came on for Shaw, probably fitness, but Maguire, looking good. 89th minute, heavy tackle to Kuna in the box. No penalty call, but probably it's fair. Again, you're.
It wasn't enough from
full Muppet. It's
Salaba.
a pen. It's a pen. It's a pen. You've seen that called as you've seen it called as a pen, but as just like a purist of football, that is not a penalty. Right. It's a coming together. It was a shade to a pen, I want to say, but you just can't. If the ref calls it, you're probably getting it. If he doesn't, you're not getting it overturned. That was it. United lose to Arsenal. 1-0. Arsenal played bad. Gyökeres didn't look great. He was all red. They were finding him. Cesko coming on.
Ooh.
Looked a player. Should have started, in my opinion. I understand what Amorim's doing, but the play well, no result is only going to take you so far, because now I feel like Fulham has a little more pressure for the dub, and that's an away game in London that won't be easy. And so, you can play well, but you need to get results at the end of the day. And I felt like United were so close, but just lacked that finishing touch in the final third.
And let's be honest. The worst thing about United last year is we'd actually on occasion turn up for some of the big games, at least parts of the games. We didn't always win them, but we were in them in a way that we weren't against the Fulhams and the Burnley. They weren't in the league, but even the promoted teams, sometimes we had trouble with the Ipswich Towns. So this is the big test. Arsenal, I would have loved to get a result. I'm excited that we did outplay them. At the end of the day, it's about getting a result, and we need to get results in London against Fulham and then against Burnley. Those are big, big games where we have to show, is this team for real? Well, if they are, they're going to beat those teams, because Arsenal was always a mountain to climb. We gave ourselves a chance. Things you need to work on. We'll get in the stats, sir. But it's about these next two games, because we got to be picking up points, because the games only get harder right around the corner from that.
Don't remind me. The stats don't lie, though. 22 shots to Arsenal's 9. which was the first time we've had 20 shots against Arsenal since our 8-2 win in August 2011. Bring those days back.
Come on, baby.
7 on target to their 3. 62% of the ball to their 38. But here's the thing. We could brag about the stats. The only stat that matters is that goose egg that United have. And we knew Arsenal, they're behind the 8 ball. They start slow. They were going to be slow. I felt like Sir Alex Ferguson just knew how to read it, and I just knew Arsenal would be a wet noodle, and you could put Ahmad and Cesko on and go for it, and it would have been there. And I just feel like Amorim flinched, he was playing like peak Arsenal, halfway through the season. We were getting like a preseason Arsenal. You could have went for it. We had the ball in dangerous areas. If you had the Cesko and the Ahmad threat, I just felt like you would have been a little better off. But regardless, a great performance from United that is going to be overshadowed by a goalkeeping error and a bunch of Arsenal fans that won nothing texting us on the thread.
Hey, they're back. They're chipping at us. That's always a good sign.
But we're going to chip back with they created 0.29 XG from open play against Manchester United, which is not great. Again, last time we saw the game 1-1 at Old Trafford. Last season, they scored set piece. They're turning into, Stoke City, basically. There you go. Great photo. Great photo. Tony Pulis, Arteta. Quick tactical teardown on the match against Arsenal for Manchester United. Look, we played. It's the 3-4-3, sir. But United were building up in the 3-2-3. We actually had Dogu hanging out wide up top with Mount and Embumo coming in with Delo. So we actually built up in a 4-2-2, a 3-2-2-3. And what was interesting about this is actually Shaw, Bruno, and Mason Mount were able to drag the ball wide to the left-hand side during build-up, which we would then switch to Embumo. So Delo would kind of drop deep, and Embumo would find the right wing spot because we're like, hey, he's going to be playing 10. How are we going to get him out on the right wing? Bam, we switched it. Bruno Fernandes had the highest X assist, and Embumo had the highest X threat and the XG for Manchester United, which came from this right-hand side. But unfortunately, we were not able to find Kuna at the back post. That pass from Embumo or a shot or the final product wasn't there for Manchester United. But it's encouraging to see how we're able to isolate different areas of the pitch. And then looking at Kuna, he would actually drop deep in this pocket of space in the same area that we were getting Embumo involved, and then he would run in behind. So I think the reason why he opted for Mount was the versatility in basically playing second fiddle to Kuna and Embumo and getting them on the ball. And I think that's why we didn't go with Cesko, because he's going to be the focal point of attack, and it's going to completely change how Manchester United play, where today we were effective getting Kuna on the ball on the left side of the midfield, having him make those runs, and then Embumo got to run on the opposite side of the pitch. But for me, the most exciting thing to see was Ahmad and Embumo, because Ahmad had 100% successful take-ons.
Unbelievable.
And he just needs to cut it back to Embumo for him to finish, and we're going to figure it out. So I think the highlight here is Amorim's idea is very clear. I think we have the talent up front to be able to penetrate and make these attacks. The attacking strategy is working. The build-up play worked against Arsenal's press. And so we're going to see Manchester United get much more effective in the final third. And that makes sense because when you add all these new ingredients to the stew, sir, you gotta give it some time to cook. You gotta give it some time to cook.
You do, because these are attacking players that are going to need time because we have a brand new front three. Obviously we didn't start Cesko in this game, but he will be the starter with Kuna and Embumo behind him, and you could see what they're trying to do. You missed his height in that first half because we were creating so many good chances, but we are not a big squad in that front when you have Mason Mount, Kuna, and Embumo with the average height of 5'9" or 10. So Cesko, his 6-foot size, his mobility, his fucking, the 4 feet jump lift that he can get off the ground, he's going to be a real threat. So the more time they have to gel, the better they're going to get. So very, very encouraging. But like I said, Embumo and Kuna were unbelievable today. Didn't get their goal, but they were so threatening, carrying the ball with intent, cutting through that midfield. It was encouraging. It was very, very exciting to see. I wanted to start burying some fucking goals because we got to score goals.
And the manager has a plan, and that plan was working because I was wondering how he's going to be able to play to both players' strengths. And we saw the game plan do exactly that, as well as getting Bruno to be able to spray the ball with him and Casemiro and actually switch it to these just absolute lethal players. Let's hear what the manager had to say. Look, I think he was very defiant. He spoke truth about this match. Let's hear it.
Ruben, hi. Could you just talk us through the goal from your perspective? Because Bayindir seemed to get trapped and then he couldn't get out.
I think you can watch the goal. I think it's allowed to do a lot of things in the corners. We need to do the same. But when you touch that way in the goalkeeper, he needs to use his hands to catch the ball, not to push players, or he choose push players and let the ball pass. But again, it's the rules. If he's allowed, we need to do the same thing.
Are you saying that he should have acted differently in that
No.
moment?
I'm saying that or you choose to push a player or to get the ball in that moment. So he chooses to get the ball, but he's getting pushed, so he cannot defend it himself. That is my feeling when I see the play. But again, you need to do the same.
Samuel, Ruben, did you give any consideration to starting Tom Heaton ahead of Altay? Because he's conceded a goal similar to that before.
Why?
I think a lot of people might argue that Tom's a better keeper than him, more experienced in the Premier League.
But he suffered a goal like this where?
Tottenham last season.
Without VAR. With VAR, with VAR is a foul. And then what happened in the next game?
Okay, may I ask?
When
I mean, Amorim just clapping back.
Good, bro.
Clap it like
Luckhurst,
with
come
VAR.
on.
With like, hey, good
knows
memory. Like he's like,
gotta win, bro.
I'll tell you, he's thinking about all those goals going in with the keepers, having nightmares. He knows exactly what's going on. Look, it's defiant from Amram. I think he can be. This is a great performance. So we talked about it tactically, his plan. We imposed our will on Arsenal. They came to our house. We just lacked that finishing, that finishing move, sir, that we need to do to put them to the sword. But let's recap Arsenal. We got the last word, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Sir, give us the good about the Arsenal match, and I'll give you the bad.
I'll do the good, you do the bad. That's a roll. That's great. Good. I'm going to go. Kuna and Embumo shined on their debut as they look perfect fits for Manchester United. You know, they were a threat throughout, and they will only get better playing together, especially when you bring in Benjamin Cesko. Back three of De Ligt, Shaw, and Euro was very effective, and De Ligt especially had a terrific game. Dorgu once again a standout. I think he is going to just grow and grow. Such a young player, but also looks tailor-made for this system and the EPL, given his physicality and his pace. And last but not least is I cannot wait to see more of Benjamin Cesko because he's the real deal. He needs time, he needs support, but his pace and his height are going to be lethal once he learns to link up with his team. We saw a run off the ball, maybe 75th minute, and his speed is so deceptive because he's a big fucking lad. This guy ain't dusted him.
I ain't beating him.
Nobody listens to this pod is dusted him because he's got real speed, like real EPL
acceleration,
differential.
Top speed.
Yeah, he's a big lad, dude. The fact that he can, so give me the bad. That was the good.
A freak.
Encouraging. The signings looking good.
By the way, De Ligt man of the match. That's
without a doubt.
That's one of the best Manchester United performances. Wearing the shirt, putting it all on the line that I've seen in a long, long time. And then we need more. The fact that you're seeing some of that, and this manager can get it out of these players.
I've never seen him play like that, bro. He's never played like that. United.
That was brave. That was like put it all, every tackle going in, like
I know,
like Vidic, like. That's what United is all about, sir. The bad goalie, it's a problem. This whole Onana playing, Bayindir's good. Like, come on. Like, Tom Heaton's on the bench, but he's a vibes guy who now is going to be a backup. What's going on? We knew Onana was injured a long time ago. We've seen the film on him for 2 years. He got Erik ten Hag sacked, basically. Karius had one bad game for the Scouse Bastards. They got rid of him. How are they doing? Why is this guy still around? Why is Bayindir still around? We've seen enough tape on these guys to know that they are going to cost us points. Bayindir cost us points today, and if Onana comes back, he'll cost us points tomorrow. I wish it wasn't the case. I like Onana, but I wish Bayindir could step starting number one at Manchester United could be yours, but every time he gets there, it's errors. And so if Onana's making errors and Bayindir's making errors, you got to move on, and United need to sign a keeper. That's like something we have to do. I feel very strongly about this. And then the second would be the midfield. Casemiro, if it was 3 years ago, he'd be the general. He'd be running things, but Baleba, we need to get another number 6, and the attack has to gel. So I do think that the bad is Ineos can fix it in 2 weeks. So let's go for somebody in the transfer market and fix the goalie and CDM positions.
You already got 3 in. I mean, I think they made real inroads to fixing, at least in the near term, without Europe, their attack, and it's only going to get better and better. Now you know what you need to do next. You need a fucking goal. You need number 6. You get 2. You don't. I mean, Balaba is like a fucking grand slam, but you get 2 workable players that can compete in the league. And
he's worth whatever they want.
Oh.